What's up, familia? Welcome back to Latina Mic Drop, where we speak truth, power, and possibility into the mic every single week. I'm your host, Miriam Simon, proud Latina, executive coach, author of Tattoos and Pearls, CEO of Me See Coaching and Consulting, and your ride or die when it comes to building the life and leadership you deserve. And today we are celebrating, y'all. I'm officially 1 year into running my business and 41 episodes into this podcast. That's 41 weeks of truth telling, mic dropping, and reminding everybody as Latina out there that you don't have to choose between success and authenticity. You can have both. One. And today I'm giving you 5 ways to craft the life you want based on your own journey, my coaching framework, and the lessons I've had to live to learn. So if you've been stuck, waiting, playing small, or playing nice, this one's for you. So let's start at the root, instinct. Step 1, learn to listen to yourself. We're so conditioned to take care of others, to make decisions based on what's safe or expected. But what if you actually paused and asked yourself, if I had all the time and money in the world, what would I do? Would you still be in the same job, same relationship, same city? That question changed my life. I used to wait for permission to speak, to lead, to live. Now I move with instinct. That's the I in my Inc. framework. And it's how I help clients and companies become unstoppable. Because when you connect with what's true for you, everything changes. So let me tell you, I used to be the person that would be people pleasing and wanted to be the nice girl and didn't want to come across mean and didn't want to hurt anybody and didn't want to ruffle any feathers, right? I didn't like to get in trouble and I like to follow the rules. And in doing so, right, sometimes that helps create this persona that you need a rule or you need a permission or you need a guide or you need somebody to tell you, yes, it's okay to do this. Yes, it's okay to do that. And the difference is that, you know what, if I had all the time and money in the world, what would I do? I mean, at this point, right, in my life, it is about where do I spend my time? What do I do? Who do I spend it with? Right. So I had to make the decision of thinking about going to work in New York City as opposed to continuing to work in New Jersey. And had I done that, I would haven't been able to make the money that I'm making now, nor would I have the opportunities that I have currently if I would have stayed in the same job. So I moved 8 different jobs in 10 years, which not only doubled my income, which was my goal, it quadrupled it, right? And then thinking about the relationships, right? So had I stayed with my kid's father over 20 years ago, I would not be happy. I would not be satisfied and it would not work. It just wasn't going to work no matter what. Even if I tried as hard as I could, it was never going to work. And so I had to learn how to choose me and listen to what I wanted. The one thing that I always did, and listen, I am for taking care of my kids, but the one truth I knew that the day would come that I would be without them. And the day is here. So for all of you moms who are spending your entire day and your whole agenda around your kids, listen, there will be a day where they are going to move on. They are going to find their way, whether it's by themselves or with someone, and they are going to move on without you, right? So no matter what, that day will come, right? And I knew that forever. And I remember seeing my mom alone, and I kept thinking, damn, like that's like pretty sad. And not that you have to be, not that people are sad on their own, because I know so many women now who are super happy on their own, but I guess I had never seen it, so I didn't know what it looked like. And nowadays, like, I have learned so much from those women that are actually on their own doing things like traveling on their own, like getting different jobs, like picking up their shit and going somewhere else. Like that is really, to me, that's so interesting. And I'm so happy that they're able to do that, right? Because I never could. So I couldn't. But that's the difference. Some of you have the options and some of you have the ability to, you just stay behind, or you don't take an opportunity because of other things, right? Okay, so let's move on to step 2. Face everything and rise. Let's be real. Some of us are out here trying to positive mindset our way around trauma. No, 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 no. We're not running anymore. We're not pretending. It's time to go to therapy. It's time to have the hard conversations. It's time to tell the truth about where you are versus where you want to go. That's navigation. That, and in my ink framework. And for me, that looked like walking away from different roles where I was overachieving but undervalued, from relationships where I was seen but not celebrated. You have to get honest before you can get free. Now, in order for me to write this book, Tattoos and Pearls, Combining Street Wisdom with Corporate Strategy, in order for me to come to you today and be able to speak to you and tell you exactly what I've been through, and in order for me to write this through and give you the pearls of wisdom at the end of each chapter and how I overcame it, I needed to go to therapy, right? So many of us, it's the first gen. It's because we're the eldest. It's because we're immigrants. It's because we're minorities in so many different ways. It's because we're the firsts in so many different things. It's because we were navigating something we absolutely had no idea about, right? So all of us, in one way or another, have a trauma, which could be a small T or a big T. I've experienced so many of them, and there are different things where we get hurt too. And even just a heartbreak is something very difficult to get over. And unfortunately, the people that are in your life now may be paying the price of what that other person, that ex, did to you, because you haven't dealt with the trauma from it, or you haven't dealt with it at all. Maybe you were just going through the motions and you didn't even realize. And now listen, therapy isn't for everybody. I highly recommend it because I did it. And I did it with someone who was from my exact background. And I asked a tough question like, what is your stance on LGBTQ plus? Because I can't speak to somebody who is going to help me if they don't know about LGBTQ plus, or they are against it, right? That is the mistake I did the first time around. I didn't ask that question about what I needed, and that didn't help me. But this time around, I did. And this person answered the question honestly, and it was true. We went through it, everything. She helped me so much. Being able to let go of all those things and recognizing what my triggers were and recognizing what was making me hard and what was making me difficult and what was giving me a hard time, that really set the tone for me being a coach, for me being a leader that I am today, for me being the independent person that I am today. I never was able to go do anything on my own. I used to be so scared. And now I still get a little bit scared, right? I mean, traveling on your own as a woman in the United States, Latina, LGBTQ plus, it's not that easy. But at the same time, you can go ahead and you can do it. So imagine if I were to forget everything and run, right? That's the easy way out. That's the easy way to go ahead. And right, I used to talk about being in a shell. And I mean, come on, I grew up with the Ninja Turtles, right? So you would go into your shell and hide. And so you're soft and gushy inside. And then you have this hard exterior outside that protects you. And that is literally how I lived for a very long time. And now I've taken down the armor. I don't wear it as often. I don't put it on as protective gear anymore when I'm out in the world. Now I'm open and have more conversations. And that's all because I dealt with all the different things that I needed to deal with in order to come to this phase of my life where I wanted peace and I didn't want fear to continue to be the driver in my life and how I lived it. Okay, now here's where the shift happens. So the final 3 steps are about your killer mindset, the K in ink. Let's break them down. So step 3 is stop waiting for permission. Nobody's coming to tap you on the shoulder and say, okay, mija, it's your turn. No, you decide. You decide what it is that you want to do. Listen, I felt othered in my corporate career, and I decided that, you know what I'm going to do is I'm not going to allow that to tell me who the hell I am and what the hell I'm capable of. Right. So then I decided I was going to coach, to speak, and write my story on my terms. And that wasn't permission, that was power. Like, I really found my power. I really was able to own my shit, own who the hell I am, and own where I'm going. And that is what really helped me get there. Now, I used to ask for permission and I used to be so scared because I work right in HR. It was kind of scary at the beginning, but then I realized, okay, if as long as I'm following the rules and there's guidelines and all this other stuff, I still have freedom of speech. I can still be myself. I'm still who I am outside of the job, right? Like, why are we allowing that to take over? And guess what? If something happened to me today, they're going to replace me no matter what. If I leave tomorrow, like, yeah, they'll feel bad about it, I think, for half a day, if anything. And then they're going to say, oh my goodness, we need to fill the post and we need to fill the job and we need to do what we need to do, right? And they'll move on from it pretty quickly. And that's pretty much in every organization. People want to think that people love you and want to be with you. And I'm pretty sure they do. Some people are going to be heartbroken about it. But the reality is that an organization has to continue to stand on business and continue to move the hell on, right? So I stopped waiting for permission. Now I post on LinkedIn. I have my podcast. I have the Chingona Times to show that there's a safe space for Latinas who are feeling othered, who are feeling that they are being gaslit in their workplace or they're going through it because of bias. There's so many different things that affect us in so many different ways, because the reality is that the workplace was not created for us women to thrive there, right? From history, it tells us, I'm not making this shit up. Like, we see back in the day, the people that were working were all men. So they created it for themselves based on their biology, based on what's important to them. And then we started to come in out of necessity. And then slowly but surely, this is where we're at. That's why a lot of places don't have maternity rooms. That's why a lot of places don't have where we can go to the bathroom even on our monthly. So there's just so many different things. And listen, stop waiting for permission. Step 3. Okay, step 4. Stop asking others what they want, especially when you're the one doing the labor, carrying the dream, and taking the risk. Ask yourself what you want and own it. So, oh my goodness, my wife and I go through this all the time because it's like, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And because we're both trying to please each other, right, we end up not making a decision. And so what we've decided to do now, almost 20 years later, is say, okay, I want this. And then she can tell me, I want this. And then we can make a decision as to what we want to do, right? Because you're going to negotiate it sometimes. And it could be in anything, in where we want to go on vacation, on what we want to do on a Saturday and Sunday, on her days off. It could be even after work, or Wednesday, Thursday, depending on her schedule. And before, we would just get so aggravated with each other because we kept asking each other, what is it that you want? What do you want? What do you want? And we're trying to please one and the other, trying to be considerate, but we get overly considerate sometimes. And then we end up not getting what we want anyways. You end up getting frustrated. You end up getting into an argument. You end up not doing anything, maybe, probably even. Oh my goodness. You know how many times we just said, yeah, forget it. We're not going to do anything. No, that's not the way it goes, right? You're going to say, this is what I want. And imagine that's just small. Those are just small decisions. So imagine those bigger decisions, right? Where even at work, right? But stop asking other people what they want, especially when it's going to directly affect you, right? It's okay to say, this is what I want, and then work it out, right? Or this is where I'm headed. This is where I'm going. This is what I would like. I would like this. I want this. It's fine. It's fine. Try it. You'd be surprised at how many people are willing to give you what you want. Most people don't want to take away from you. Most people, just like my wife and I, right? We want to satisfy each other. We want to help each other out. We want to do the best for each other. But if she can't read my mind, I can't read hers. People are not mind readers. That's the fact. People are not mind readers. So stop asking them what they want and start asking yourself what you want first, and then work it out, right? It's okay to do it after, but first start with you. Now, step number 5, start saying no when it's a no. Stop people pleasing. Stop yesing your way to resentment. Saying no is a boundary, not a betrayal, right? Saying no is not a betrayal, it's a boundary. I say no to protect my vision, my peace, and my voice because I fought too hard to get it back, right? So there are times where people are trying to give me something that I really don't want. In my book, I talk about stop giving me lemonade and stop telling me to make lemonade with the lemons that you give me. Because maybe I don't like lemonade. Maybe I don't want your lemonade. Maybe I don't. Maybe the reality is that I want strawberries, but because you're allergic to strawberries, we can't have strawberry lemonade. That's the reality of it. Stop saying no when it's a no. Practice saying no to people. People are going to be okay with it. And guess what? If they're not okay with it, then they need to start understanding who you are and start to understand your boundaries. And unfortunately for me, there are times where people will walk away from you, or you need to walk away from them, because if they can't respect your boundary and they can respect your no, then that's a problem, right? You need to value yourself, not betray yourself to make others happy. It has been the way it's been working, but we need to change that. We need to be the people who are making it different, because if we're not happy, we're not making others happy, right? Misery loves company, they say, right? You've heard that saying. So why continue to fester that? Why continue to create that? Why continue to make that a reality for everyone and all of us around us? No, I don't want to be living in resentment. I want to be living in happiness, in joy, in respecting my decisions, right? And also, I want to be able to respect other people's boundaries. If they are telling me no for something, there's a reason for it. There's a reason for it. Sometimes they don't need to tell me what the reason is. I just need to either accept or decline, and that's it. So here's your recap. Listen to yourself, step 1. Step 2, face everything and rise. Stop waiting for permission. Step 3. Step 4, stop asking others what they want. And step 5, start saying no when you mean it. That's how you craft the life you want. Not just someday, but now. As we celebrate this 1-year mark of Misi Coaching and 41 episodes of Latina Mic Drop, I just want to say gracias to every listener, client, reader, and fellow Maven who's walked this path with me. All the chingonas out there, the jefas, the badass bosses, thank you for your time. Thank you for tuning in and celebrating this milestone with me. If this episode sparked something in you, share it, leave a review, send it to your comadre, your cousin, your colleague, because we're not gatekeeping this growth. We're multiplying it. And if you're ready to work with me one-on-one, bring me to speak to your team, or just connect, head to Miriam Simon online or find me on Instagram, author Miriam Simon, at Latina Mic Drop Podcast, at Tattoos and Pearls. You don't have to do this alone. Until next time, live bold, lead proud, and drop the mic. See you later. Take care.